starting by making the jam for my tarts. I'm using frozen fruit here. I've got a lovely mixture of British summer fruits. Now make sure you've got quite a large pan because it will really bubble up as it boils. To that I'm going to add some sugar and some lemon juice. We're going to start with quite a gentle heat at first and keep stirring until the sugar dissolves. Now the sugar has dissolved and the fruit is completely thawed, so I'm going to take out my spoon and raise the heat and boil it quite rapidly now for about 5 minutes until it reaches setting point. I'm going to test to see if the jam is ready. I've got a little plate that I've kept in the freezer, and then we'll just put a small amount of the jam onto the plate and just leave that for a moment to cool down. And then with your finger, just give it a slight push and the surface should wrinkle, and if it does, it means it's ready. If not, continue to boil for another minute or two. And then all you need to do is decant it into a sterilised jar and leave it to cool completely. Now I'm going to be making a sweet short crust pastry. I've got some plain flour and chilled diced butter in a bowl. Just using your fingertips, we're going to break down the butter and rub it into the flour. Now the mixture looks like lovely fine breadcrumbs, so I'm just going to add some granulated sugar. And here I've got an egg yolk that I've mixed with a little bit of cold water. For the full recipe, just click on the link. And then once you've got some nice large pieces, just use your hand in that claw position to bring it together, just gently squeezing the mixture. And then just pat that into a disc, wrap it and chill it for about 15 minutes just to make it firm up a little. My pastry is firmed up nicely. I'm just going to very lightly flour the surface. Don't go too heavy with it because we don't want the pastry to dry out because it's already by nature slightly crumbly. And just keep turning your pastry so it doesn't stick to the surface. We're looking for the thickness of about a £1 coin. Now I'm using a cutter that's quite a bit larger than my tartlet tin because the pastry will shrink a little bit. And you can either use the straight side and decorate it yourself or go fluted like I'm going to do. Now there should be enough here to fill a tray of 12, and then gently peel off those trimmings. Be careful not to stretch the pastry. Just easing them in and press it down gently. You'll get a little bit of overlap on the edges, which is what you want. And then re-roll those trimmings. Be quite gentle, don't overwork them, otherwise you will get quite a tough pastry. And then I'm going to add a teaspoon of our jam to each one. And don't be tempted to overload it because it will really bubble up and can spill over. I've got an egg white here that I've beaten, and it's from the yolk that we used to make the pastry earlier. We're just going to brush that around the edges of the tarts, and that'll make them nice and shiny and golden while they bake. And all we need to do now is pop these into the fridge for about 10 minutes just to firm up and settle down, and then they bake for about 15 minutes until they're cooked all the way through, and then leave them in the tin to cool completely before serving. For more lovely recipes, don't forget to click to subscribe.